Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Capricorn is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider hitting the subscribe button, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 10 of Wands, that is a sustained energy, right? That is maximum effort, the 10 of Wands. You're someone who, I think you feel the weight of something. I think you really feel the pressure. This is like literally feeling it in our joints and our muscles and our soreness, right, and the tightness of our bodies, because this is a lot of weight, a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. Whatever you're doing, if this is work, school, home, family, friends, doesn't matter. Spiritual work, if this is a relationship, you're feeling the responsibility. You're feeling that it's you carrying most of the responsibility here. Okay, I feel like you are intensely devoted to something. When you're involved with something, Capricorn, I feel like you give it 110%. When you really care about it, when it has such meaning and purpose to you, you're going to give 110% with no questions, right? I think sometimes you feel that. I think you recognize that it's kind of wearing you out a little bit. We don't want to let this card become burnout, but this is a card of a generosity of our energy. That you're somebody who is willing to put in 110% of yourself if you really care about the path, the process, the person, whatever it is, you know. But we've got to be careful with this too. We have to make sure that we are safeguarding our energy a little bit so that we can continue to give a high level of effort. This is an investment, time, effort, energy, and or money that we don't want to drain ourselves. We don't want to give everything we have and then say, well, I've got nothing left to give, you know. So we have to be able to replenish this energy too, okay? So let's see what we've got. Let's use our Dove and Serpent spread. We've got the Death card. We've got the Eon, Rebirth, the Reawakening, the Baptism by Fire. This is almost a phoenix rising from the ashes here. We have a Queen of Pentacles in the past position, the past, looking at the past. We've got the Emperor. Very good. And we have a Two of Pentacles. Causing change, causing harmonious change. That's the work of the magician, right? Juggling the two pentacles there in order to create, you know, kind of rubbing two sticks together, making fire in a way. We have, oh, interesting now. We've got a Knight of Pentacles. We've got your Superpower card. The Knight of Pentacles is a card that represents the Capricorn energy in action. Okay, so we have a card looking at the past, and then we've got your card, your power card, looking at a new future. And whoa, we've got the Devil card too. We've got both of your Superpower cards coming out at the same time, one after the other. That never happens. So this is you looking at the path, looking at the goal, looking at the pathway to get to the goal, looking at your new future, and this is you out here doing it, right? So it's like you got you're in your best energy and you're doing your best work. You know, you're out here being Capricorn, doing Capricorn stuff. And it really is intense. And I think that you have this ability to continually recycling old material in order to use it as fuel. You know, it's kind of, to me, it feels like a Back to the Future, Mr. Fusion, right? They just put old banana peels and stuff in the DeLorean and that would be its fuel, right? And so I think that you're able to really summon, you're able to summon the energy that you need because you truly do care about what you're doing and you feel like it is the future for you. And I think you know exactly what you're getting into. And I think it's amazing. I think it's such a confirmation to get both of your superpower cards and the Empress. Come on. And, well, a higher perspective on things. Here's the outcome that we need is this higher perspective. I think so we can understand sort of what we're creating, and we can understand what we need to process from the past in order to recycle that energy. Maybe there are things that we are lingering on energetically from our past that we need to recycle that energy so we can have fuel for what we're going to do now and going forward. The energy of your path is not in the past, but it's in the future. It needs to go this way. I think there are, that being said, there are things in your past that we need to process and recycle that energy. So maybe that you're feeling kind of at this moment in time, there's a transition. There's some energy that may be lingering, stuck back in some past things that if I could just grab that energy back and put that back in the gas tank, then I'd have plenty of fuel to go forward with this kind of robust vitality, This is really wonderful, and you've got a lot of good cards here. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Bubo, the mechanical owl, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the end, but it will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point, during this program, you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction in the comments. Okay. Now, let's look around the room. We have a definite leveling up here with our major arcana on the vertical pillar. The vertical axis of the path of the dove here is really a leveling up. Going through a doorway, letting go of past, and emerging as this powerful kind of boss energy, right? Going into the future. I think this is going to be a really big achievement for you. I think spiritually you are achieving a level of mastery, a level of personal authority and confidence. I think on the horizontal plane, you are learning how to let go of past, liberate yourself, liberate energy from the past so that you can use it toward creating the future of your dreams, really. Okay? And then, of course, your devil energy over here. You're being your best self, and you're doing your best life here. We even have the Empress. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana energies. We have fire, no water. We've got air, and we've got our earth, and our earth, and our earth. Okay, so just a little bit of air that I think we need to be aware of there at the end. Because that air, the Queen of Swords, is a little bit detached from that meaning and purpose and things, right? So we're really caught up in the activity, in the work, in the accomplishment, and the striving towards something, and that's a great place to be, right? But I think this card is reminding us that we need to let in a little bit of the luxury. We need to feel good about what we're doing too. We need we need to remember the purpose and be able to feel that sense of accomplishment. Otherwise, the goals that we're achieving, the Two of Pentacles that we are creating, that we are, the things we're continuing to create going forward, they're going to be absent of meaning, right? We have to make sure we stay in touch with that meaning so that these actually have an emotional component to it, right? I feel like you're building something that's going to last beyond you. Like you're building some long-term success. That's what our Knight of Pentacles is doing, or some kind of even a legacy, something that's going to last longer than your lifetime. Okay. The Empress in the position of the obstacle here is interesting to me too, because with the material and spiritual wealth, the prosperity, right, that we might be creating here on the physical plane, we want that to include the emotional and even ancestral richness for you. We want this really to be your best life, not just empty structures, empty shells that we're creating, right? So we need that Empress energy in here, which gives us this almost an emotional connection to what we're creating, because the Empress is a maternal energy. So it's kind of like, this is us, we're building our life, and this thing that we're doing, whatever it is, this is your baby. This is something that you have a connection to and you care about. And you want to have both the the concern and the care for it, to nurture it and put in the work. In a maternal sense, I mean, you've got the maternal and paternal energies here. So in that maternal sense, you want to devote your energy to something. You want to give to this because you love it and you want to see it grow, whether it's a relationship, a business, a spiritual practice, physical health, fitness goals, whatever it might be. You want to give to it in order to watch it grow, and then also to feel the joy and just the wonder of it growing. So we have a lot of major arcana here. I think that with the Death card, it is the reminder that there's something in the past we have to let go of. The Death energy is a card of rebirth. It's a card of kind of letting go of the past, reclaiming energy, and using that energy to take us into the future. Okay? This is also a card that reminds us that the right kind of change in life, lasting change, is going to take time. It's going to be slow and steady over the course of time. This is kind of saying like, slow and steady wins the race. This is saying that the change that we really want is one that's going to take daily effort, drop after drop, consistent. It's the river, right, flowing through a landscape that will eventually change the shape of the landscape. Right? The water flowing consistently is going to change everything. It's going to change the way the ground looks, right? But it's not perceptible to the naked eye in the moment, right? In the moment, we may just see a rush of water and debris and just kind of chaos in the moment. But what it's doing is that it's slowly wearing away those difficult, so what we consider solid structures, right? Wearing those away and changing the shape of the landscape. And so I think that you have the energy of fire, but you also have the endurance and kind of the subtlety of water. We almost, it's kind of a very alchemical thing we've got going on here with the Emperor and the Empress. Okay. So I think with the Death card, it is a couple of those things that we have to keep our energy, our Ten of Wands. We have to keep this energy going consistently, but we have to make sure that we are enjoying what we're doing so that we can replenish these stores when we start to wear out our energy. It's not infinite, right? Now, when we're doing something that we feel is purposeful and has meaning and we're devoted to it, the energy rises in us and we feel a surge of energy that, we feel like it'll never wear out, but it will wear out. We need to replenish that through self-care, relaxation, love, connection, community, and things like this, okay? Because it's not a finite thing. We don't want to burn out. I think there are also things in the past that we can let go of and liberate energy in order to kind of add to the fire here. There are things that no longer are meaningful to you, and I don't know if maybe psychologically or maybe physically, because, we got this Queen of Pentacles in the background here. I wonder if there is something, in the physical realm that we need to let go of in order to keep that energy in the present, so we can use that force, right? I think the Queen of Pentacles, while they are looking at the past, looking at the long and winding road that we took to get where we are, I think this is the point where we had to let go of all that and say, what do I need to do now? Maybe we've had a lot of struggle, a lot of suffering in the past, a lot of hardship, and that all has taught us a great many things. This is the card of practical wisdom. This is a card that says if we understand the past, we can use that as leverage toward the future, okay? But we don't want to linger in that past. We don't want to linger, even psychologically, thinking about that past, keeping our thoughts, words, deeds, energies tied up in that history. But I think that this is showing a very strong foundation for you. I think of stability and security built through consistency and care. Okay, where you are right now and the energy that's available to you is a very strong foundation for you. And again, I think that you built this through being consistent, and the care that we see, the discipline that we see from the Hanged Man, and the care that we see with the Empress. Okay, I think this is also going back into a history for you. I think that there is some kind of a family, some kind of a lineage or a tradition that's connecting you to your roots. I think with this card, I think elders, I think inherited wisdom. Okay, and so I think you are drawing a lot of this, a lot of energy, a lot of understanding and wisdom, and maybe practical skills too, very much so. Taking all of that from history in order to apply it to the future. But that's what I mean, like we have to apply that. You know, it's one thing to be drawing it in from that, but now you're transforming that. You're transmuting the past into activity, energy, and change going forward. So this is really, you're continuing this very wonderful line, whether it's a family, you know, a lineage, a tradition, or the roots that you have, this inherited wisdom, you're transmuting it into positive changes. Okay, does that make sense? I think it's a very simple expression. It's like a math equation. Okay, what you're inheriting, you're transmuting alchemically inside of you into an energy toward positive change. Yeah, positive change. And I feel that there is a culmination of your efforts. Okay, now I think that with some of these cards too, I'm feeling there is this a kind of a sense of community. There's some kind of a prosperity that's being shared with a tribe, with your soul tribe. You know, it's something that is meant to be shared with others. Yeah. Now, with the Eon card underneath the surface here, this is a culmination of your effort. This is a door. This is a definite change that you feel taking place, and I feel like something really is about to hit for you. You know, I feel like the success that you're waiting for is right there. The reward for all your hard work, discipline, the vision. I feel like this doorway is very, very close, okay? This is a divine doorway. Let's do a divine doorway oracle card here. I love these little cards. I think that this is an intentional doorway that, oh, there's the one. The intentional doorway that we have to walk through, okay? And on the other side of that, here you are as the Emperor. A stranger's grace. Ego fears the sudden danger, but never underestimate the kindness of a loving stranger. Interesting. Interesting. In a way, I kind of feel as if you're putting yourself out there. That this is a moment for you to really step up and realize that you're the emperor, you're the boss, you're the one that's in charge, you're the authority, and of course that means that you're the forward-facing intelligence here. You're the one that is kind of greeting people when they come in. You're the one that is making the decisions and sending the energy outward. Like if somebody has a problem, they're going to come to you. If somebody has, some praise, they're going to come to you too. And so this, I think, is the ego in a way. With this card, the ego doesn't always want to step into the leadership role, or doesn't always want to accept the responsibility or the accountability that says this is my energy and I've got to manage it in the right way. But you've got this Emperor energy right above you. So I feel like this is something you've done. I think you've dealt with your ego fears, okay? And the kindness of a stranger, to me, is kind of talking about like the ego kind of afraid of of the dynamics between other people, right? How it's going to kind of feel when I put myself out there. Are people going to like me? I'm afraid of what people might think. Confidence is not going into a situation and saying, I'm going to do great, they're all going to like me. Right? Confidence, the Emperor's confidence, is going into a situation saying, I'm going to be okay even if they don't. I'm going to be okay even if I don't do well and nobody likes me. That's going to be okay with me. Right? I think you have this very hardworking energy that's saying, that ain't going to happen. But you're quelling the ego's fear. Right? That says, I'm scared because what if people don't like it? What if people don't like me? What if I'm not good at this? Right? Confidence is not saying, I'm going to be fine, they're going to like me, I'm going to do a good job. No, it's saying, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do the best job I can. If people don't like me, well, I can deal with that. Right? I'm not going to see the shadow side of the Emperor. Every card has light and shadow. Okay? The shadow side of that is that the ego goes into something and has this very harsh, abrasive energy and just says, I don't care if people like me. And so then we're not sensitive. Right? We can't build rapport with people. We don't take criticism. We just block everything out and we're just a tyrant. No, a good emperor is saying, I'm going to be okay even if people don't like me. But if they don't like me, maybe I can talk about that. I'm confident enough and secure enough that I can say, okay, well, what's the problem? Let's talk about it. Maybe can I do something differently to accommodate other people? That we're open, we're flexible. We're not just a rigid, monster like the emperor here. We're able to take in what people say and again, transmute that into a very positive and productive movement forward. So we have that common theme here of you taking in what you need, whether it's criticism or compliments or wisdom, something inherited, and you're able to transmute that into positive. This is harmonious change. This is the activity of the magician, who is the Mercury, right? Hermes, the trickster, the juggler. Right, and of course the Two of Pentacles in other tarot decks shows somebody juggling the two pentacles. Well, that's the magician, right? And that's kind of the art that the art and science of manifestation, being able to juggle these pairs of opposites, being able to juggle light and shadow and know how they intertwine. We don't want to be all light all the time because the shadow will sneak up on us. We'll be ignoring the shadow and it'll hurt us, right? So I like this card down here, the ego. The ego fears the sudden danger, but never underestimate the kindness of a stranger. Yeah. So we got the stranger's grace. And this was a doorway that you walked through. I think that it sort of represents either you already did or you know that you're needing to go through this doorway and accept your role as the emperor, as the responsible party here, as the one who's doing it. No one's doing it for you. No one's doing it to you. Accepting the accountability, which means I'm going to suit up, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do my very best. I have confidence and security that things that I'm going to be okay, even if it doesn't work out so well, even if people don't like me, I'll deal with it in a way that is sort of magnanimous, right? So I like this very much. The two of Pentacles in this future position tells me that you do have like a wisdom in your planning here. Again, we've got the Queen of Pentacles in the background, and I think we're transmuting the wisdom of that into kind of knowing what steps to take. The wisdom in planning, right? You have the foresight and the structure to make smart decisions that are going to pay off over time, right? Because that death card, right? It's slow, gradual progress over the course of time. I keep doing the right things here and here and here and here and here, making good, wise, intelligent decisions moving forward. And we can't help but create our best life. I mean, this is going to be really, really nice for you, okay? There's a lot of information. Let's talk about the path of the serpent. As we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. These readings are free. They don't cost anything. Really supports the channel. And, well, I feel like spring and summer aren't really the best months for the channel here. That's kind of where we see a dip and things really slow down. So it's important that we try to stay in the algorithm. And, well, I appreciate your help and support. I really, truly do. Okay? And I love all of you. So we're going to talk about your general energy, which is your superpower. Your superpower is that, well, really that the foresight, be able to see the future. Who are you? Where are you? What are you doing long term? Okay? That's your superpower right now, is having this vision of this life. The vision of, like, this is someone who can look at an empty field and can see the beautiful trees, the garden, the greenery, the vegetables and fruit and the rivers, and can see the landscape really coming alive, you know? Or you can look at a blank canvas and you can see, I can see it now, that masterpiece that I'm going to paint, right? And then, of course, what we do is we reverse engineer that. We work backwards, we unpack it, and we say, how do I start? How do I get there? What are the steps I got to take, right? So I feel like this is something that you're always doing, is kind of checking in with that future vision to see what it looks like and to see if what you're doing now, the movements that we're making, are keeping this vision intact. Because what we know from Back to the Future, is that all of our thoughts, words, and deeds in the present moment are going to affect what we see in the future, right? It's karma. Everything we do now affects who we're going to be, where we're going to be, and what we're going to be doing down the road, okay? And so I feel like we have to always be checking in with our vision of the future and think, yep, it still looks the way I want it to look. That means I'm doing the right things. If we're making some bad decisions, we're doing some things that, well, maybe I shouldn't be taking these steps, we check in with the vision, and the vision, well, it may be missing an arm. It may be like, you know, some of the things may not be the way I wanted. Some of the images may have faded out or been erased, you know, like in that movie. Shout out to Michael J. Fox, by the way. I don't know if he's a Capricorn. I don't think so. I feel like he's a Gemini, maybe. Anyway, this is your ability now to see the consequences of your actions. And I think this card's also talking about the idea of we're creating lasting abundance, right? We're finding ways that we can create wealth that will sustain and support the future. Both our future and generations, right? We're thinking long term. I think you are, because this is that card, right, of that future, right? We're setting long term, medium term, short term goals. Setting goals that build legacy, right? Not just short term goals. Not just immediate gratification, what feels good now. See, the water doesn't even factor into this for you, which is both a blessing and a curse. We want to feel the water. We want to feel the gratification, but you're not focused on that. You're not doing it just because, well, it feels good to me right now. I got money right now, spend it right now, it feels good, right? Or are you setting something up that says, I can reduce my immediate gratification to have a larger kind of long-term, prospect, okay? So I think that we're definitely thinking long-term here. Not just short-term goals, but short-term goals are part of it. We need those periodic wins, short-term wins, in order to feel motivated. And again, we'll restore our 10 of Wands so we can continue going forward. If all we have is this big long-term goal and I don't get any kind of feedback along the way, it's very difficult to keep this thing going. So what we need to do is chunk the big long-term generational legacy kind of goals, right? Chunk them into short-term goals. So that anytime we hit one of those milestones, it's a win, we feel good, we're motivated. So you have to take a big goal, break it down into small goals, okay? And in the environment, of course, we've got the devil energy. Sometimes Capricorn, you can be a little bit of a solitary creature, okay? I think the devil card is talking about our motivations and how we're going about acting on those motivations, okay? So this is a card, again, that reminds us it's not just about the short-term gratification, okay? Because sometimes this motivation can just be a pleasure drive, right? The devil is a card very much associated with material pleasures, and I'm just seeking pleasure and avoiding pain, and that's my motivation in life, is just to get more what feels good, But for you, I think it's beyond that. But I think you're recognizing that, yeah, we all have these kind of human devil energy desires. We all want some human gratification. We want to buy nice things. We want to have nice friends. We want to have good times. We want to eat rich foods and drink sweet drinks and things. But we've got to moderate that. We've got to understand how that can be used for us as fuel, or whether it's just it's distracting us from our long-term goals, right? So those sorts of gratifications can be very positive for us if they encourage us, they help us, they heal us, they make us stronger, right? And so everything's too much is not good, too little is not good. You got to find the right balance that works for you. Yeah. I think you're aligning with that ancestral wisdom and drawing upon your roots, family values, to help to guide your vision, okay? And I feel a very strong and very interesting connection here with the maternal and paternal energies, because we have the Knight and the Queen of Pentacles, we have the Emperor and the Empress here in the major arcana. I think you're building strong foundations, continuing to build upon this ancestral wisdom by manifesting your goals through, again, consistent planning and grounded actions, okay? The devil energy has this solitary kind of feeling too. It seems like it's a suggestion that maybe we need to focus on our support, that you have this kind of lone mountain goat energy that says, I don't need anybody. I'm doing this is me. I'm climbing the mountain all by myself. It's cold and lonely on this hill, but I'm climbing it, right? We might need to call in our soul family, right? Call in our support. You have the ability to attract people who share your vision of stability and growth, okay? And I think that we need to open up and we need to build on that. Yeah, we need to build upon that because it's, even the lone mountain goat, needs its tribe, right? So let's focus on that as well to continue making those kinds of connections. And that's part of our Empress card too, right? Because the Empress is all about family, soul family, support, attraction, right? It's all about the stability and the growth. Knowing that energy has to be dynamic if it's going to continue. If it's going to last, it needs to be a dynamic, right? Change equals stability. The only thing that makes life stable is its constant fluctuation and change. This is a dynamic energy. This is a give and take. Right? This is, I sow 10,000 seeds and only one of those plants will grow, but that's it. Things have to be born and grow and die for other things to be born and grow and die. And it keeps the whole thing. It's what maintains the stability. So we realize that life is the throughput, right? It's input, output. Yeah. In a energetic way. Okay. This card, I think, in the position of the difficulty for you, I don't know if it's easy for you to really to take pride or to feel good, to recognize the value that you bring, to the collective and to your future and to this thing that you're building. You've got to honor your contributions. Okay, you've got to recognize the value that you're bringing to the table here, and I think that it's part of our higher perspective here that you've got to be able to see what you're doing. So this is a card that kind of takes a step back and looks at the bigger picture. You're looking at the past, the present, and the future, and getting that bird's eye view, right? Taking ourselves out of the fire for a minute, to be in the air, right? This is someone in the clouds. To just be able to look. We're free. There's no storms up here. We're not in the water energy. We're not in a turbulent emotional. We're not in the actual work activity right now. We're just sort of taking a step back and looking. And I think it's enabling us to appreciate what we're doing, appreciate ourselves, to recognize what we're doing, and to make sure that we are that we're kind of balancing the material work with that deeper sense of purpose and connection. Otherwise, the pentacles become empty shells. So this is a card that says we need to reconnect with the water. Okay, reconnect to the water, because there is, again, light and shadow in every card, right? We don't want to cling to the material security out of some kind of a fear, right? We don't want to be so attached to the idea of legacy or long-term goals that we're sort of over-identifying things, right? And of course, as we take in ancestral wisdom, a lot of this stuff that we're carrying forward is ancestral wounds that might even revolve around money or stability or finances or foundation or success and things like this. We've got to be careful about that too. Okay, we don't want to feel disconnected from the soul family, our tribe. We don't want to feel that we're not worthy of those kinds of connections, of having those kinds of people in our lives, right? Let's look at the mystery card. This has been a long reading. Of course, the shadow side of the Emperor too. We don't want to forget about that. We have to tame the ego, but we don't want to inflate the ego, right? Too much, not good. Too little, not good either. We don't want the ego to become like a control freak, right? Forcing outcomes, micromanaging in order to sort of to feel safe and to compensate for the fear. We're going to be the tyrant, right? So we got to be careful with that as well. You don't want to ignore. You don't want to ignore the emotional changes that are happening in conjunction with the physical changes. Okay. We're focused on the financial gain or the physical gain or the physical, material world changes that we're making. We don't want to neglect the inner richness of this thing. Okay, so let's look at the mystery card. What could it? I hope it's water energy. I hope it is a 9 or a 10 of cups, 6 of cups, ace of cups, any of the cups. Well, let's see. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Oh, it's the 10 of pentacles. Okay. Well, this is your best life, by the way. If it is the Empress life, the Empress is really like that big rock candy mountain. where it's just, there's abundance, there's love, there's success. It's the feeling of that, right? Knowing all the while that I have to continue to put in energy. I've got to give, and it's going to give back and back and back, right? And the Empress reminds us, the more we put in, the more we get out of it. Okay? And I think that this is the life that we're creating. So whatever you're doing in the physical world is going to reach this state of really like perfection. You got your pets, your plants, your people in here. It really is one of the most successful cards, yeah? But we don't want this to be empty shells. We don't want it. This is what the Knight of Pentacles is looking at the Ten of Pentacles. And so we're looking at this and we're thinking, this is the life I want. Now, we don't want to get here and realize that I don't feel anything here. Yeah, I got my pets, my plants, and my people, but I don't feel like I belong. Like, where are you in this picture? Right? You have to make sure that that you are in here and you're feeling connected to this. So we need to invoke some of this water energy. Okay? We don't want to be disconnected from the success that we're creating. If this is money, if this is success, if this is the long-term legacy, like we want to feel the value of it. We want to feel that this is real prosperity. Real prosperity has the emotional richness and depth to it. We don't want these to be empty shells. Yeah. Let's do an extended reading. We're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. There's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Capricorn, usually on Thursdays and Sundays. This was a bonus reading. I felt like I was going to start the other readings, and I said, well, I think Capricorn needs a little, encouragement or a little bit of a reminder that says, hey, you're doing the good work. You're building your best life here. Enjoy it a little bit. Stay connected with that and treat yourself and recognize yourself, honor yourself and what you're doing. Don't feel as if you have to be the lone mountain goat, the solitary creature. Connect with your people. Find your people, right? This is really, really good. Be sure to watch both of your other readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.